I had so much fun in creating this, and I think in the next few minutes I'm going to show you how to do exactly that. And yeah, it's going to be very simple. It's a little bit different from what others do, but yeah, I think you're going to love it at the end of the day because I use some simple stuff that is pretty much understandable that you can use. So the first thing that we are going to do obviously is to start with a new page, right? So let's go to new over here. You can use Control N to go to the new page, and I think for this I'm going to use a square page, so I'm going to use 1920 by 1920, and let me just name it Apple 1, right? So I'm going to hit create, and there we have it, right? So the next thing that we have to do obviously is to bring in our apple. So I'm going to leave this apple in a video description so that you can also go ahead and practice and let me know how far you've gone up with it. So I'm going to drag and drop into the Photoshop over here, and I'm going to hit this check mark, or you can just hit enter on your keyboard, and that is it, right? So what I'm going to do right now is simply to enter a text, right? So the text I'm going to enter is apple. You can press T on your keyboard to have access to the text, or you can just click on it and have it over here. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and type that. Let me change the font size, so let's say 30. So I'm going to type apple. So once that is done, I'm going to hold on Control T to resize this. All right, I'm going to put it over here. I think I'm going to change the color of the apple text because this color is not good when you think of it in the background. So I'm going to make it, let's say, black, like this. Good, that is fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this particular text layer over here and convert it to smart object. Now I'm going to just zoom in so that I can see well what I'm doing. Right, so right after converting it to smart object like this, I'm going to go to edit and go to transform. From transform, I'm going to select warp. Yeah, warp. This is where I'm going to actually play around and see or make sure I do exactly what I want, right? So yeah, this part is very important. I'm going to make sure I position this to fit whatever I want. So I'm going to make sure I go around the apple as I want it. So you take your time and do this very well, right? So yeah, okay, that's nice. So I'm going to work on this one too over here, the letter E. Make sure I position it well. I'm going to drag it inside. Alright, so let's say this is what I actually want to come up with, and I'm okay with it. I'm just going to hit this check mark over here, but then I want to make a little bit of an adjustment over here before I hit that check mark. Alright, that was pretty fun. I'm going to hit a check mark right now. So this is what I'm going to be having. Now this is where we have to do the magic, right? So you come back to this particular apple layer over here, and what you're going to do is just hit Ctrl J on your keyboard to make a duplicate. And once you have a duplicate like this, click on the duplicate, hold it and push it to the top of this apple. I mean the apple text, not the apple as in the object, but the apple text, right? So we are going to hide the layer at the bottom over here below the apple text. Once you've hidden it, you can right click over here and go to create clipping mask. Or if you don't want to do it that way, let me just go back, Ctrl Z. If you don't want to go that way, just hold on Alt and bring your cursor over here. You can see it changes arrow and just click, and you're going to have this particular clipping mask over here like this. This is exactly what you want. And from here we have to do the next thing, which is to make the apple beneath here appear, right? So I'm going to click on this and come to layer mask over here, click on it as well. Once you click on it, it's going to bring this shape over here. With this shape selected, hold Ctrl I to invert it, right? Now what happened over here is that when you go to the brush tool over here, and with the foreground being white selected over here, and you start painting, right, you can see the apple start coming back like this, right? But then if you paint anyhow, you're going to miss out the whole thing like this, and that's not what we want to do, right? So I'm going to undo everything. Once I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do is to make sure I've drawn a layout, all right, for my text. I'm going to use a pen tool to draw a layout over here. Okay, that will fit perfectly for my apple to appear. So I'm going to have the pen tool over here. Then I think for the stroke, I'm just going to leave it at none. I'm going to first off start from the junction over here. All right, then I'll put one over here too. And I'm doing this so that it can match perfectly with whatever I'm doing, right? So I'm just going to join everything over here. Once I've joined everything, I'm going to hold on Alt. You can see this thing appearing over here. It's going to give me the handles, right? So making sure I adjust the handle to fit this particular curve that is here. Okay, that's what I want to do. And this is where I say my way of doing this is a little bit different from what you might have seen from others as well. So yeah, after doing this, you just have to right click inside with the pen tool selected, then you go on to make selection, right? So you just hit OK over here. Once this is done, you're going to have this right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to this layer over here, which is the apple that we've added a mask selection to. We come to it and I'm going to select my brush, meaning I can now paint over here. Once I've painted over here, you'll see the apple coming up, right? That's exactly what I want to do, right? Now if you could see, there are some line. Let me zoom in so that you can see exactly what I'm referring to. There are some empty spaces appearing over here, which I don't like. And if you check the top to, there is an empty space over here, like as if the leaf has been cut through, which is something I don't like. So I'm going to go back to the shape, which is my pen tool drawing, and what I'm going to do over here is to hold on to my Alt. Once I've made the arrows appear over there, the handles, I'm going to hold on to my Alt and make sure I do justice to these things, right? So I'm going to position it over here. I'm going to do the same thing to good. To go to the top, I'm going to bring this one down a little bit, bring this one down a little bit. So guys, this part you have to take care, right? So once I'm done that, I'm going to right click again and go to make selection and hit OK. Once that is done, I'm going to go back to my layer mask over here again, go to the brush tool again with the foreground being white, and note the hardness of the brush has to be 100. Okay, so you have to make the hardness 100, and I'll go ahead and do the remaining painting, right? So with this, you can see that the space over there has been covered. Now with the down part, we do the same thing. All right, we are going to make another pen tool drawing over here, right? I think let me zoom in a little bit so that we can get the general overview of this, right? So the first anchor point drawn, and with the second one. Good. Now I can just draw up to here, here, and here, right? So with this, I'm going to start over here to play with the anchor points. To have access to the anchor point, you need to hold on to Alt on your keyboard so that you can have access to this and do it the right way. That's awesome. So I'm going to right click, go to make selection, hit enter, and this is what you're going to have. And with this, I'm going to go back to this particular layer mask over here again, go to my brush tool. From here, I'm just going to start painting as well, and this is going to start appearing. All right, and voila, you've gotten exactly what you want, right? So Control D to deselect. Once I've done that, I'm just going to paste this. Now if you look at this, there's something which I don't want again, and it's appearing over here, like this particular place, right? It's as if it has been cut off, and I don't like that. So yeah, let's work on that quickly. So we go to shape 2, the shape 2 over here, and what we're going to do again is go back to the pen tool and make sure we hold on to, you can either hold on to Control, you bring out the anchor points, and still hold on to this, push it up a little bit. I think this is fine. Good. Once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and right click and make a selection again, hit enter, then go back to my brush tool, make sure I come down to this apple, then yeah, I do the painting. And guys, that is it. Control D to deselect. You can see there's no space left over there again. Now I'm just going to hit Control 0 to have this select. So guys, that is it basically. All that you have to do next is basically save your file, and you know how to do that already. I'm just going to do that over here and select JPEG. I mean the first JPEG over here, save, and voila, maximum, and yeah, that's it. Okay, so guys, basically that is how you can quickly, that's how you can quickly do this particular text manipulation in Photoshop. You can use any other product that I told you that you want to use. Let's say you want to use pepper, tomatoes, banana, carrots, cucumber, whatever that you want to use. You're going to do it simple with this kind of technique. The most important thing that you have to learn out of this video is the use of the clipping mask and you using, the masking effect over here, right? So this is the masking effects and this is the clipping mask, all right? And the duplication of the particular image that you want to use. That's the most important thing, right? So guys, I'm going to see you in the next video, and if you like a content like this and you want to see more of my videos, kindly go ahead and hit that like button on the video and also hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bless up.